ஹலோ ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ். இப்போ ரீசெண்டாக என்கிட்ட நிறைய பேர் டவுட்ஸ் கேட்குறது கேபிட்டல் கெயின்ஸில், அதுவும் ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்காக நான் ரெசிடென்ஸோட கேபிட்டல் கெயின்ஸில் தான் கிளாரிஃபிகேஷன்ஸ் கேட்குறாங்க. ஸோ அதனால் இந்த வீடியோ நான் ரெசிடென்ஸ்க்காக நான் இங்கிலீஷில் போஸ்ட் பண்ணலான்னு இருக்கேன். ஸோ வெல்கம் டு ஆர்டிஸ் டேக்ஸ் இன்ஃபோ. This video is exclusively for all the non-residents who are having property in India and who are trying to sell the property in India. So what all non-residents generally do is they will find a buyer easily with the help of a broker, but they are worried about all the tax complications happening with respect to sale of property in India. So they need not worry on the tax complications. There are only two things you need to know. One, you have to know what type of capital gain it is, whether it is a long term or a short term, and what TDS rate need to be deducted from the buyer's end. So long term or short term depends upon the holding period. So when the property you are holding is more than 24 months, then it comes under long term capital gains, which is taxed at 20%. And when the property you are holding is less than 24 months, then it comes under short term capital gain, which is taxed at 15%. So generally all the buyers who are purchasing the property in India, they will deduct only 1% TDS if it exceeds more than 50 lakhs of the sale value. But when they are purchasing a property from a non-resident, there are no limits for the purchase value. They will have to deduct the TDS at the rate of this 20% or 15% based on the long term or short term, and this 1% is not applicable. So all the non-residents find it a huge burden for this TDS amount being deducted, and it is held with the income tax authorities till they file the return of income. So what they can do is, before selling the property or before entering into a sale agreement, they can apply for a form 13. So this form 13 gives a benefit for the non-residents who do not have any other income in India and they only have a capital gain. They can go in for this lower TDS or nil TDS. That is, they can apply for 1% or 3% or 5% or 0% of the TDS to be deducted from the buyer's end. They can apply it with the income tax authorities. So once the income tax authorities or the assessing officer, they are satisfied with all the details provided by the non-residents, details in the sense all the agreements, whatever you have, the purchase document, the sale deed, and the computation of the capital gain with respect to the property you're going to sell, everything needs to be submitted to the assessing officer. And if the assessing officer is satisfied with all the documents, they will immediately approve the TDS rate as 1% or 0% or 3%, whatever. So once the assessing officer has approved the rate, the buyer needs to deduct only at that rate, and they will have to mention that rate in the sale agreement and proceed for the sale. So it is buyer's duty to have a TAN. He has to apply for a TAN and he has to do the TDS deduction based on the rates provided by the assessing officer. So once the sale agreement is gone through and then they have registered the sale in the buyer's name, then what he can do is he can remit the amount after deducting the TDS to the non-residents. So non-residents, what they can do is they can take the amount, whatever they have received in the Indian account, to the foreign account by getting a certificate from a chartered accountant, that is form 15 CB and CA. So once the chartered accountants have approved this, the TDS has been paid and there is no TDS required for this remittance, then they can proceed taking the money. You can repatriate the funds to your foreign accounts. So if you have any doubts relating to this form 13 or form 15 CB, you can mention in my comment box. Thank you.